Welcome into episode 4 of Plead Your Case for the 2025 fall semester. We're leading off today with the state of the MLB, talking playoffs and the overall season. After that, we're moving into the return of the 5 and 5 mini segment with Joe CHIRILLO and Seth Adams talking about the Ryder Cup. And we're finishing off the day with the state of the Pittsburgh Steelers with McKenzie and Logan Arblaster. Stick around. It's time to plead your case.
Hey there, sports fans. You're watching another episode of Waynesburg University Community Television's only national sports debate show, Plead Your Case. Whether you're a diehard fan or a casual observer, get ready to join us every week as we dive deep into current pressing sports topics. Our panelists dissect every angle, every scenario, and every statistic to influence their fiery takes.
What has he done without Tom Brady?
And spirited arguments.
No, listen, Bowtie. Have you ever played Foursquare? No, you were too old to play Foursquare.
There will be no argument unexplored, and every take will be under review.
After reviewing the play...
Here in the Waynesburg University Communication Department, we believe in heated debates with a touch of friendly competition, which is why we also have a fresh 5 and 5 mini segment that you won't want to miss.
I don't think a pitcher is breaking Cy Young's wins record of 511.
You Google America's team, and what do you get? You get the...
So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious sports chat. It is time to plead your case.
Welcome back into Plead Your Case. Taking a look at the 2025 postseason picture as it sits today, you can see the Brewers, Phillies, Blue Jays, Mariners all have the division. Also the Dodgers and the Red Sox, all of your divisional leaders. Taking a look at the wild card teams so far, Yankees, the Guardians. We also have the Cubs, Padres, and Reds in the wild card spot. Chase Maceiko back with you, joined by Logan Arblaster and Seth Adams. Logan, what team is your team to watch going into the playoffs?
Chase, there's a few teams in both leagues, American League and National League, that are still fighting for that last third playoff spot in the wild card. Now, I think the National League is the most thought-provoking here because there's still teams with a chance. The Diamondbacks still have a chance. Even the Giants still have a chance, but the Diamondbacks, they're one game out. There's two teams, though, that are the Mets and the Reds that are tied for that last wild card spot right now as we sit here. And I think a team that has not won a playoff series in 30 years, guys, 30 years it's been, I think the Cincinnati Reds are not only going to squeak into the playoffs, I think they're going to win a playoff series. They have won 5 games in a row, and they have a very favorable schedule coming up. I think the guy sitting next to me, also to my left, has a similar take on it.
Yeah, we talked about the Reds a little bit before we got on air, and it seems like these Reds, they really got something going here. And they're going against the Mets. And guys, let's be honest, we know the Mets choke every single year. After the All-Star break, they have just struggled. They've been 25 and 34 since the All-Star break. They're on a they were on a 7-game losing streak and an 8-game losing streak since the All-Star break. These guys just cannot figure it out, and we've seen it so many times in the past as well. They've only won 4 in the last 15 games.
They were 45 and 24 at one point.
This team, it's always so, like, if I was a Mets fan, I'd be frustrated. We see this every single year. This team looks super solid. They got a great cast of guys. They got names that you know. Francisco Lindor, list goes on and on.
$339.5 million roster.
They're one of the highest. They're a New York team, right? They're a high-market team, and here they are struggling to squeak in against the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, come on. But I got to give the Cincinnati Reds credit, man. They have looked so good, and I'm on with you. I really want this team to squeak in. They got a series against the Pirates, which I think that they can easily handle, which hurts to say, but it's true. And then they got one against Milwaukee. They take 1 or 2 from Milwaukee. I think they'll be okay.
The Reds have been red hot. That's the way I'll put it. And I quite honestly think that's the most dangerous a team can be. When you come off a 162-game schedule and you go into the postseason, obviously you have to have elite pitching in the back end of games. You have to have a good bullpen. But the most key component here is being able to be hot, go into the postseason.
It all matters.
You can beat anybody. It doesn't matter what lineup you're facing. And I think that's what the Reds have going in their advantage here.
Yeah.
Also, I have to point out Terry Francona. He has been exceptional this year as a manager for them. He's done a great job with the team. The Reds brought him in for an interview in the offseason. The Pirates didn't. I really thought Francona was a guy that the Pirates could look at, and they brought back Derek Shelton. We can see how that worked out for them.
Goodbye.
But Terry Francona, if you're able to just get a whole clubhouse working together, believing in one thing, you're going to have some really successful results, and I think that's really going to pay off for them as well moving towards the playoffs.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz, he's batting .263. He's got 36 stolen bases. That is huge. Marte, he's batting .272. He's coming off an injury. We've seen him in the outfield more. He has been stellar since he's come back. Lux, last 7 days, he's batting .378. Spencer Steer has 4 home runs. This team, like you said, it's hot, and they got the numbers to back it up. They got Hunter Green, they got Abbott, both guys with 2 ERAs. I really think this team, if they lock in and take down if they do make it, they're probably going to play a high-end team like the Dodgers, which is going to be a tough opponent. But the Dodgers, they have struggled on the road. They have a huge advantage at home rather than away, statistically. But I don't know, man. I like these Reds. I'm personally rooting for them. I think they're a fun team to watch. I think they're going to be the team in the NL to watch this postseason if they squeak in.
See, that's where I'm going to disagree with Seth Chase. I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, but I think they're not going to be able to get past the Dodgers. The Dodgers have not been as great as they've been last season. They're at 88 wins right now. There's only one team in the National League with a chance to get triple digits in victories this year, and that is the Milwaukee Brewers. But with that said, this Dodgers roster is still a complete all-star team all over the place. They have Ohtani still, Freddie Freeman. It's going to be really hard to beat the Dodgers, and on paper, they might still be one of the best teams of all time. You put them in a playoff environment knowing that Clayton Kershaw's in his last season ever, and I really think that they're going to be a tough team to beat. I do believe that the Reds will be hot, and if they don't play the Dodgers in the first round, then they're going to win a wild card series, and they'll get that first.
But didn't you say earlier that you think the Reds are going to win a series?
If they don't
play the Dodgers?
If they don't play the Dodgers, I think they'll get their first playoff series win in 30 years, just as long as they don't play the Dodgers. There's several other teams they can play, just not the Dodgers. And the reason for that is my World Series prediction. I have the Dodgers going back to the World Series to rematch with the New York Yankees and have a rematch of last year.
Okay. See, the thing on the Dodgers is that they're, on paper, right, they're top 5 in batting, right, in averages. They're top 5 in average. This team could hit, and they're number 2 in team ERA. But only 88 wins. It's kind of a down year compared to what we've seen. We've seen them hit near 100 a couple times. With only 5 games left, these guys are going to get a little above 90 probably. It's different to see these Dodgers kind of not be as dominant, I shouldn't say. I don't know how to word that better, but compared to some others like the Brewers, who have skyrocketed this year and have honestly turned heads a lot, especially for the NL Central. I mean, they completely took over the NL Central, which is not that hard to do. But still, the Dodgers, I feel like they did have a little bit of a down year, and that's why I feel like the Reds, well, if they get hot at the right time, can make something happen and pull off a little bit of an upset.
I completely see both of your points. I will say the reason I would take the Dodgers over the Reds in a series like that is just the Dodgers' experience. They've been to the World Series multiple times over the past 10 years. They have the same experience with manager Dave Roberts. The Reds are a younger team. They haven't had that playoff experience. The one thing they do have going for them is Terry Francona being the manager. He was there in that World Series in 2016 versus the Cubs. He has that experience, but can he bring the Reds up to that level so quickly when they're facing a juggernaut like the Dodgers in the wild card round? So guys, going in my second question, it's the AL MVP race. Cal Raleigh versus Aaron Judge. Seth, we're going to go to you first. Who do you have as the American League MVP?
This is so tough. This is one of the most fun, exciting matchups that we've seen with Raleigh and Judge. I've been debating it all day. I cannot really decide. Judge, he has been successful. We've seen it before. And as a down year for him, we are still seeing him put up MVP caliber numbers. But this is this year, right? This isn't career. We're talking about this year's AL MVP. I think Raleigh just has done an outstanding job. I mean, the dude has insane power. We've seen it all season. 58 home runs, 121 RBIs, only a 247 average, which compared to Aaron Judge, he's got a 326. That's where I think his flaw is in the batting average. Judge gets on more, puts on more base hits. But 58 home runs, man, it's really tough to tell. And I'm going for Raleigh. I think that he deserves it. Aaron Judge is having a little bit of a down year. I think that Cal deserves it.
I'm going to stick with my pick here of who's going to be going to the World Series, and that's the Yankees. I think they're going to play the Dodgers, and I think the Yankees are going to beat the Dodgers in the World Series. So in line with that, I'm also going to pick Aaron Judge to win the American League MVP. Now, the reason for that, he's going to win the World Series. He's going to be a huge part of it, but he's also batting .326. So
Win the World Series.
he is going to win the World Series.
Okay.
You don't think they're going to win the World Series?
I didn't say anything. I'm going to let you keep talking.
That was a very pessimistic comment from you. Yeah.
Definition.
So also a very high OPS as well that he has. So I think that Aaron Judge, it's a really hard debate. I think Cal Rowley's right there.
Yeah, I think.
And he's having a historical year here, guys. So it's not like it's too far off.
Yeah.
But I think Judge just has a little bit of the edge. His OPS is at an MVP level. His batting average is at an MVP level. And when you put those things together and what he can do in the outfield, he also has 11 stolen bases. I do think Cal has more. But he's a better all-around player, and for that reason, I'm going to take Aaron Judge as the MVP.
Yeah, he has 14.
It's definitely an interesting conversation. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. Cal Raleigh just passed Mickey Mantle for most home runs all time by a switch hitter. Has the now highest total of home runs by a catcher ever after passing Salvador Perez, who only had 48. Aaron Judge has obviously been in this position before, been in the MVP race, been in the playoff hunt as well. So this is nothing new for him. I think I got to go with Cal Raleigh as well. To see this out of a catcher is unprecedented, and he also plays Gold Glove defense to back it up.
Mm-hmm. One thing I want to say about that, though, is I feel some of those stats, no offense, I feel like some of them are a little cherry-picked. When we talk about Mickey Mantle being a switch hitter and having the most home runs, and like he has the most in Mariners history. Okay, yeah, but like you also got Aaron Judge too, who is putting up these numbers, and he's done it beforehand. So I feel like some of that is a little bit favored in his way, and I could kind of see how people be like, but he did. I don't know. I kind of feel like some of those stats can be. I'm not discrediting him. I'm still going with him as a pick. I just feel like sometimes those are a little bit cherry-picked, in my opinion.
I want to add also the Yankees as a team have 263 home runs.
Yes, yeah.
The Bronx Bombers are back, and we all know how important it is to be able to win a game with one swing, to have an impact with one swing, and Aaron Judge is a huge part of that. The next closest team is the Dodgers. There's still 31 home runs. 31 home runs behind the Yankees there when it comes to that stuff. So just being able to hit a home run and with one swing be able to win a game, I think that's why the Yankees have a huge advantage, and that's why Aaron Judge ultimately wins this debate.
Yeah, okay. I could see it. I mean, we talked about it before. It's really, these two are they're so great, and it's hard to compare two really, really great athletes. It can go either way. Both opinions are very valid, in my opinion. It's hard to disagree on stats. It's hard to disagree.
Yeah, so with the season winding down, we'll find out the answers to the AL MVP race soon. Now we're going to get into some of the best storylines of the 2025 season. I'm going to start with my personal favorite one, and it's Clayton Kershaw. Yeah. He just had his last starting pitching appearance versus the Dodgers on Friday night. And look at the dominance. Almost 3,000 innings pitched, over 200 wins, a 2.54 career ERA, and over 3,000 strikeouts. This is a guy, I don't remember a time, I'm 20 years old, when the Dodgers did not have Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Basically, he's been in the league forever.
Our whole lifetime.
Multiple Cy Young awards, an MVP award, just absolute dominance out of Kershaw for his whole entire career. What are your guys' opinion on Kershaw? Any other big moments from the year that you guys want to hit on?
Oh, I mean, he's one of 20 players ever to have 3,000 strikeouts, so there's that. I mean, it's just phenomenal what he's been able to do on the mound. National League MVP award in 2014, also 3 Cy Youngs. This guy has been a bona fide superstar for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and to do it for one team also, your entire career, it's not like he's bounced around the league. He's been able to do it in the same place at the same time, and he was able to have a really nice send-off the other night as well when him and his family went out there on the mound and dug up the pitching rubber. I thought it was a great touch for the Los Angeles Dodgers organization and a great send-off for one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing else more to really be said. The stats have shown themselves. Logan gave almost every single thing you could talk about with Kershaw. The man has just been in the league forever. It really means something when you can stay with a franchise for a very long time. It shows your compassion, your loyalty, and it shows the city itself of how much this man truly cares about his team and the organization. So to be there for that long and announce that you're done, it's really heartful and super meaningful for the MLB. They should really cherish this moment and take it into the future as well. Like, show what his career really has meant to the Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and when Kershaw started, the Dodgers weren't this juggernaut of a team that was always in the playoffs, always projected to potentially go to the World Series. At the time, it was a division ran by the Giants in the early 2010s. The Diamondbacks had a strong 2000s along with the Rockies. And as soon as Kershaw showed up, that's really when we saw the Dodgers start to evolve into this perennial World Series candidate team. So guys, next up, this is going to next year in the future. Officially announced today, the MLB is bringing the automatic ball strike system to every single ballpark in Major League Baseball. So it will be implemented for the 2026 season. Each team will get 2 challenges and then 1 extra if you go to extra innings. So guys, Seth, we'll start with you. What's your opinion on the ABS system?
So if you flash back a couple years, I think it is now, Logan and I were actually on a segment on Plead Your Case talking about the automatic balls and strike system, and it's kind of a full circle moment. It's really cool that we're on the desk together again during this. I was actually the host, so I didn't really have an opinion, but I think it's wonderful. I think it's going to save games. I think it's going to take the frustration, because it's so annoying as a fan if you're watching and as a player when you know you throw a strike and the ump calls it a ball and the box shows. The only thing that I have with it is the technology advanced enough to make sure that every single height, every single movement, I guess, from the pitch is calculated. It needs to be perfect, and I don't know if it's going to be. I guess we'll see. But I think it's a great thing. I think it's going to save games. It's going to make games more enjoyable and not so much more frustrating, especially in moments when they matter the most.
I've been such a huge enthusiast of this ABS system because there are so many calls per game that absolutely change the whole entire scope and results of these 9-inning baseball games. It should never get in the way. The human element of the game should never get in the way of who wins the game, and that's what's starting to happen here. There's getting way too many missed calls, and I want Scott Donnelly, if he's watching this, to watch this back and know that I ultimately won that debate, because we need to somehow get that in there. The 2 years ago clip of me saying that we needed to get a challenge system in there because, like I said, Scott Donnelly, he's too old to even play Foursquare, and I'm glad that I finally won that debate.
I just think that as time has went on, they mentioned, like, if you're on that other side, the human element is supposed to be in it. Right. The human element is being eliminated in almost every single aspect of sports now. Tennis, they have the one inside the ball. They have like the motion control on the ball. Soccer, they see it go past the line. It's getting to a point in the new era that why should we have human error when we can have athletes who are making precision strikes, precision shots, and they're being taken away from human error. I think we should give the people their flowers and give them gratitude for the success that they have playing the sport.
Yeah, real quickly, imagine it's Game 7 of the World Series. You're watching your favorite team try to win the World Series, and the game-winning run is on third base. And because with the bases loaded, and it's a 3-2 count, and if there's a ball thrown, then your team wins the World Series, and the umpire calls a strike when it's not a strike.
Yeah.
If teams are strategic and save up those challenges they have for those type of moments, those are the times that you're really going to see that pay off, and no team should ever lose because of a home plate umpire.
And we look at the replay system in general. They didn't have that back in the day. Do you imagine the perfect game that was blown because of that call? It's still debated as should he get it because if they had a replay system, it would have been an out. That's the same thing I feel in my eyes. If the umpire's right there, obviously he missed it. So if it makes the game more correct, it should be in the game. It's a strike. It should be in the game. I just can't. These guys deserve to get the good calls go their way.
Well, we saw the result of one of the past debates, that being the ABS debate. We'll see in the coming months if our playoff predictions and MVP predictions come to light. Stick around for the next segment where Seth Adams and Joe CHIRILLO tackle the 5-5, where we cover the Ryder Cup.
Gotcha.
Fading up to Tyler and Mia in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Mia Hinkins.
And I'm Tyler Aaron, and welcome
to Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome back into Plead Your Case. We're doing the 5 and 5 segment now. Seth Adams, Joe CHIRILLO. We're talking about the Ryder Cup. What's the Ryder Cup? It's a 12v12 match between USA and Europe, playing in Bethpage Black Course in Farmingdale, New York. It's a 3-day match. A lot to unpack. Let's get right into it. America, their captains, Keegan Bradley, and Europe's captain, Luke Donald. Joe, I'm going right into the questions. Who's the most talented / most impressive person in this entire match?
I mean, you can't not look at Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler being one of the best golfers throughout the entire world right now, being the #1 golfer and holding that spot for over 2 years now. You can't deny what he brings to Bethpage. But if you're looking at the European side, the one guy that I'm looking to is Ludwig Åberg. He's having his second go at the Ryder Cup. Now, he was fortunate enough to be on the winning team in the 2022 year. This year, I think he's going to make a big push to be the winning reason as to why Europe might be getting this cup back.
All right, good, Joe. Way to go. You got in quicker than I thought you would. All right, next question. A little bit of a curveball. Biggest trash talker, most toxic one on either side. Who you got?
Ooh, there's a lot of guys on here that are good trash talkers. A few that come to mind. Bryson DeChambeau, there's a viral clip with him talking trash to his own teammate of Patrick Cantlay from last year. But also, Patrick Cantlay, he's another guy that loves to talk trash throughout the entirety of the entire week. Honestly, he does it when the Ryder Cup isn't even happening. But if I look at the European side, I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick, he's got a mouth on him. But if there's one guy that does it silently, is Viktor Hovland. Viktor Hovland just has this poise to him when he's walking up the fairways. And he's just walking like he's like, I don't care what you say. I don't care. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make the putts and the strokes that count. He's going to go into there doing that. I think if you're looking at the U.S. side, you're looking at Patrick Cantlay. If you're looking at the Europe side, you're looking at Viktor Hovland.
Well said, Joe. Now, Joe, who doesn't deserve to be here?
Oh, there's a lot of guys that I don't think on this team, on both of them. I don't think that, I personally, I wouldn't have picked them. Now, a lot of people are wondering why Captain Keegan Bradley isn't playing for the U.S. team. And the last captain to play was 1962 with Arnold Palmer. When he was captain, then he played. That was the last time a captain has played for their team in general. But a lot of people wanted Keegan back. I personally was okay not having Keegan on the team. For the U.S. team, I got to go with Russell Henley. He made it due to qualifying. It wasn't even a captain's pick, but he made it due to qualifying. It's just because there's nothing really special about him. He's a really good golfer, but there's no pizzazz. There's no Scottie Scheffler shots out there. There's no Bryson DeChambeau monster drives. There's no Ben Griffin clutch putts that are going into the cup. He's just one of those standard mediocre guys. When I look at the Europe side, honestly, Tyrrell Hatton. He does a lot with the LIV Tour, but not as much with the PGA Tour. Now, some may say that's the same with John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, but Tyrrell Hatton doesn't really have a lot.
All right, next question. How challenging is this course? What are we going to see from this one?
This course is very challenging. As of right now, they actually just postponed the opening ceremony. It was originally going to be at Thursday at 4 p.m. right before they tee off Friday morning, but they have since moved it to Wednesday because of weather conditions that are coming in. Right now, they have 28 mile-per-hour winds that are scheduled to come in Thursday night, and those are expected to stay over the entirety of the weekend.
Meteorologists now.
And so with that 28 mile-per-hour wind, this course is going to be unexpected in all aspects, but especially here at Bethpage is those greens. They have very large greens that are very fast throughout their entirety of the year, and especially with the wind coming in, there is going to be a lot of speed on this course this weekend.
All right, who's going to be the most fun to watch, Joe? Who are we looking for when we're watching our televisions?
I mean, like I said before, Scotty Scheffler. It's Scotty Scheffler. Come on, you can't not watch the guy. He is just spectacular through and through. My guy that I love, a lot of people call him the golfing machine. He's just a robot practically, is Ludwig Åberg. I mentioned him before. But one guy that I think is going to come out here hot and is going to be the X factor for the entirety of the Ryder Cup is going to be Tommy Fleetwood. He won the Tour Championship, his first ever PGA Tour win. He got that at the last win of the season, and he was able to come out there. Fairway Jesus, I think, is going to be the most spectacular player we have.
And finally, Joe, who's winning? America or Europe?
It's really hard to go with this. Europe won in 2022.
You have the red, white, and blue, right?
I got the red, white, and blue, and I got my red tie on with my golfers. I really want to go with the red, white, and blue, but I also have a lot of reasons to choose the gold and blue. They won in 2022. Victor Hovland got that awesome picture with all the girlfriends and wives when he didn't have one. I don't know. It's really, really hard to go with this. I'm going to go with the USA, though. I think that they have the most stellar competition yet. I think this year is going to be a one to remember with the Ryder Cup, one that I think we're going to think about for a long time to come.
Well, thank you, Joey. The Ryder Cup coming up this weekend. Super exciting. Hope you tune in, but don't go anywhere. We got football talk coming up. Logan Arblaster, Mike McKenzie, Steelers football. Don't go.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mia Hinkins, and welcome to Buell Hall, home of Waynesburg University's Department of Communication. If you visit our campus, you'll have the opportunity to attend some comm classes, enjoy lunch with our students, and watch us in action. We hope to see you here soon at Waynesburg University.
To schedule your personal visit, go to waynesburg.edu/admissions/schedule-visit. Come grow with us at Waynesburg University.
It's time for the final segment on today's episode of Plead Your Case, and we're finishing off today talking about the state of the Steelers. Welcome up to the panel, Michael McKenzie, joined alongside Logan Arblaster, two resident Steelers fans here, but we're going to take some different approaches to talking about the Steelers here to finish off today's episode of Plead Your Case. In the interest of optimism, I'm going to let Logan start off the discussion here. So what's your kind of outlook here? What's the state of the Steelers, Logan?
Well, I think I have to start out with this, and I have a nickname for the guy that was just on the screen. He leads the league in touchdown passes with 7. He could have 8 or 9 if it wasn't for a few blunders in that Seahawks game, and that is Aaron Rodgers. I call him Raji. He's been great. He's the NFL MVP so far. He's stood out, and he's definitely the Steelers MVP, and in an area that they need to improve upon the most, it is definitely converting those field goals into touchdowns, and that is something the Steelers have been able to do. They're the 5th best at it in the NFL since Aaron Rodgers has become a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Now, MVP of the NFL, I think, is 3 leaps too far. He has been a lot better than I anticipated to start the season, as you look at some of the numbers on your screen. But the Steelers have not been able to run the ball nor stop the run. Let's look offensively first. They don't even have 200 total yards, their running backs combined. And this is an Arthur Smith offense that is running back centric. We've seen a lot of Kenneth Gainwell alongside Jaylen Warren to start the season. No Caleb Johnson, but he hasn't really warranted any playing time. 3 Steelers players have 100-plus receiving yards, one of those being Jaylen Warren, who actually leads the team in receiving yards. I think there needs to be more wide receiver incorporation offensively. And like you said, I do agree with Logan. Some of those field goals have to get turned into touchdowns, less reliance on Chris Boswell. But I want to look defensively right now. This is a $158 million defense that still cannot stop the run. They're 27th in the NFL in rush yards allowed per game, just a tick under 140 rush yards allowed per game. I get that they didn't have Derek Harmon for the first 2 weeks, and he did make an immediate impact in that game against the Patriots, a sack. I believe it was 1.5 TFLs, but he was doing a good job plugging up running lanes. But Cam Hayward, who held in the entire offseason, needs to be better against the run. Keanu Benton cannot be on his backside 2 out of every 3 running plays like he has been, and I think there needs to be better movement for TJ Watt. He can't line up on the same side of the defensive line every single snap because teams are just running away from him. You look at that next-gen stats graphic that shows up on Twitter after every game, and 80% of the run plays, at least, usually 90% of run plays, are away from TJ Watt. They have to move him around a little more, and there's got to be better play from Benton and Hayward specifically on the interior of the defensive line.
Now, that's something I can agree upon there with Mike, because the Steelers' defense has to be better. It's something they're going to have to progress at towards the playoffs to be able to compete for a Super Bowl, because that's what the goal should be for every team. One of the biggest areas of concern is the 3rd and longs, and that's something Mike didn't mention. They're giving up 3rd and longs over 60% of the time right now, and they did so also last week against the New England Patriots. On 4th downs, it's been pretty much the same also. It's over 50% success rate against the Steelers defense, something they're really going to need to clean up. They've still been good on 1st and 2nd downs under Mike Tomlin's schemes, but this is something that's been going on forever. It's been going on for the last decade that they haven't been able to fix. I do agree that they're going to need to fix their creativity on defense, changing up some schemes, something that Brian Flores will probably throw the Steelers' way whenever they travel to Ireland to play the Vikings. And really, Flores should still be the Steelers' defensive coordinator. But I will say, opponents have a passer rating over 101 right now against the Steelers. If you're wondering, for comparison, Josh Allen, who was the MVP last year, he had a 101 passer rating too. So the Steelers' secondary that they added a lot of key additions to have not been good enough, and it's also not on them. It's on the liabilities in the middle of the field, being Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen.
Now, I actually am going to give Patrick Queen a little bit of credit here, and I think especially against the run. Maybe not so much against the pass, but against the run, he's been really the only bright spot, I think. Peyton Wilson was supposed to have an amazing year. Pass coverage, run stopping, he was supposed to take a major leap this season. You haven't seen him take any leap at all defensively. So I think Peyton Wilson is the big X factor that needs to get better alongside the interior of the defensive line. But if you're looking at one player in particular, I think I want to single out Peyton Wilson. But I want to go back to the offense real quick. There's just no rhythm. There feels like there's no rhythm offensively. Aaron Rodgers is not being allowed to throw the ball down the field consistently. He's been relegated to a lot of checkdowns, screen passes, quick hitters. He hasn't been allowed to really sling it, so to speak. He's been decent when throwing the ball down the field. I think that he needs more opportunities. But running the ball is going to be what opens up this offense. And there's been very little sustainability with the run game. You look at the Patriots game, that first drive, Jaylen Warren, 9 carries, and he just ran the ball right down the field on the Patriots. I don't think the Steelers had 3 carries over 10 yards the rest of the game, and they really tried to run the ball against the Patriots. They tried to run the ball against the Seahawks. They abandoned it pretty quickly against the Jets to let Rodgers throw the ball. But I think that they had the mentality they wanted Rodgers to get that revenge game and let him kind of cook up a little bit. But they have to be able to run the ball without running the ball, without letting Rodgers really sling it down the field. There's just no rhythm offensively. It almost feels lucky when they score touchdowns.
Now, I think that the Steelers' offense has been leaps and bounds better than it's been in the other years. They're scoring over 21 points per game, and when your defense is paid the highest in the NFL, that should be a high enough mark for you to win games, and it just hasn't been seeming like that's going to be the case over the course of the season for the Steelers. Now, with that said, I don't think the season really starts for the Steelers until they get to play the Packers. There's games on the schedule where they play the Packers, Ravens, Buffalo, and to me, and like Detroit, teams like that, those are the teams that you can look at and say, hey, this is where the season actually starts. I don't think we can give a fair assessment of the offense yet, and I do know you can look back on patterns that have happened in recent years and say, hey, this kind of looks similar, but in ways it really hasn't looked similar. They have a really good screen game right now. They're utilizing all 3 tight ends really well. I think one of their main issues is DK Metcalf isn't worth $150 million. Okay, this is a guy that they brought in. If you're going to pay him $150 million, he's got to be able to get separation in man coverage. He hasn't been able to do that. So defenses have been able to double him over the top. They've been playing a lot of 2 safety looks on the Steelers, a big reason why they haven't been able to get the run game going in Pittsburgh. Jaylen Warren, hasn't been his fault. Jaylen Warren's been outstanding when he has space to run. I think he might be one of the best in the league. But it's going to come down to being able to maybe make some key additions at the trade deadline where you're adding to a wide receiver 2 position, lighten up the box a little bit, which in addition will aid in the run game, having those lighter boxes, and then having to get some congruency more on the offensive line as they go along.
Now, quickly, I'm going to also add on to the wide receivers there. DK Metcalf, no, he's not worth $150 million. I don't know why they brought him in when you knew he was a contested catch specialist and a run after the catch guy. He's not a guy that's going to create separation, and he's actually had issues with dropping passes early in the season. But I don't think they need to go out and get a wide receiver, a solidified wide receiver number 2, because Calvin Austin has really emerged to start the season. He's caught 2 touchdowns. He's become a favorite target of Aaron Rodgers. I don't really think that the need for a wide receiver 2 is as big as it was last season around this time. Now, I do disagree with the statement that the season doesn't start until the Packers game, because if you've watched the Steelers over the past few years, the lesser teams, the inferior teams, are the games that they are more susceptible to losing. I mean, people forget that this team lost to B.J. Finley in 2020 in what was supposed to be a bounce-back Monday Night Football game after losing 2 in a row. And that was what really signified to everybody that 2020 season was a wash. A number of other backup quarterbacks they've lost to in the last 5 years. They've got a backup quarterback coming up on Thursday Night Football and Jake Browning a little bit down the road. They've got one this coming Sunday in Ireland and Carson Wentz. These inferior teams, I don't understand why, but they pose more of a threat to the Steelers for them to drop an egg and play their worst ball. Again, I don't have a logical explanation for it, but that's just the trend we've seen in the last 5 years. So I don't think any Steelers game can be taken for granted. I think the season starts in week 1 and ends in week 18. I don't think that for other teams, when they have easier schedules to open up the season, it's okay, the season starts in week 5, really, in week 6, week 7, whatever you want to say. The Steelers season always starts week 1, no matter where opponents are riddled on their schedule.
Now, don't get me wrong, every single game matters. I'm not saying that here, and I do understand the trends in the past, but you look at the schedule, you know, why even play the rest of the season? Why did the Steelers go all in the offseason, getting Jalen Ramsey, picking up DK Metcalf for $150 million? What was the purpose of that if they're going to go to Ireland and lose to Carson Wentz? I just don't see it happening. I think Jake Browning's absolutely horrible. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings lost 48-3 to the Cincinnati Bengals last week. Even Jamar Chase had a fumble. They're in absolute shambles in Cincinnati. Yeah, you can say the Steelers on the road in a Thursday night matchup. It's a Mike Tomlin classic. I don't see it that way. I think the Steelers are going to show up after their 3 games against the Vikings in Ireland, the Browns at home, and then the Bengals, and go into the Packers on Sunday Night Football and have a 5-1 record.
I really want you to be right there, Logan, because I root for this team, I like to think, just as much as you do, but it's just the trends. It's happened multiple years. It's become a consistency under Mike Tomlin. I don't think that they've done anything to make me believe the opposite. Now, if they won their first 3 games...
They haven't done anything. Their quarterback has the most touchdown passes in the NFL.
If they won their first 3 games in convincing fashion, sure. But their week 1 game against the Jets, they needed 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers to really bail them out. Week 2 against the Seahawks...
41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's 41 years old. I mean, that's a fact.
And he's the Steelers MVP.
He is the Steelers MVP. I think that speaks bounds to how bad the rest of the team has been. Because I don't think Rodgers has been exceptional. He's been better than I thought he was going to be, but I'm going to be honest with you. I had a really low bar set for Aaron Rodgers coming into the season. He has definitely exceeded that. But I don't think, especially with how the offensive line has played to start the season, that he's going to play 17 games. I want him to play 17 games. I hate predicting injury, but a guy who tore his Achilles 2 years ago, was beaten and bruised up last year in New York, and doesn't have a better offensive line with the Steelers pass protection-wise, I find it hard to believe he plays 17 games. I really hope I'm wrong there, but I just find it hard to believe he plays 17 games. Plus, you look at week 2. Let's go back to week 2 here, the original point. Dropped an egg against Seattle. Multiple mental mistakes. Turnovers in the red zone. The kickoff issue with Caleb Johnson. It was poor coaching all the way around, and they lost to a team that was better coached and executed better with an inferior roster in terms of overall talent. That's inarguable that the Steelers have a better roster talent-wise than the Seahawks and look like a far worse team. Last week against the Patriots, they need 5 turnovers. They need their defense to bail them out in certain spots. I don't think the defense played overall particularly well, especially all the third and longs and fourth downs they gave up. But they get you 5 turnovers, and you're only able to turn 21 points in the entire game. And 7 of those points were because you got the ball and went, 90-something yards down the field after a punt. That one drive, they had 3 touchdown drives after 5 turnovers. One of those wasn't even after a turnover. They had 14 points on 5 turnovers. That's not sustainably winning football. And I just, that's the way I see it.
Mike, I have to give you a compliment because I think if you would be a politician, you'd be a really good one because you say a lot quick and none of it really makes sense.
You say that a lot.
I do say it a lot. And I really do think you would be much more optimistic if the Steelers were 3-0 here. I really do. And
yeah,
I think
I would.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're going to look
They're
at
not.
3 plays and tell me because of 3 plays, they played how many quarters now? They played 12 quarters, 11 of them have been good, and you're going to look at the 1 quarter and say that they haven't been good enough.
They haven't played.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. We're going into week 4, and we're completely going overboard with this stuff. There's a lot, and when you're going into the season, the elephant in the room. What's the elephant in the room? Are the Steelers going to finish 10-7 again? Are they going to be back at 9-8? No, I don't think they're going to be. They could easily be 3-0 right now.
Yes, they could be 3-0, but the fact of the matter is they're not. And last season, they were 3-0. Last season, they were 10-3.
They were 10-3.
Playing the best ball we've seen them since before COVID.
And the hardest schedule that the NFL has ever seen since the 1970s merger after the 10-3 start, by the way. And they have a tough schedule at the end of this year. I understand that, but it's nowhere near, can't even hold a candle to what the schedule was like last year. So I really think if the Steelers continue to play well, they have Aaron Rodgers at the helm this year. It's not Russell Wilson. I mean, really, they had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields playing quarterback last year. I know I'm sitting next to a huge Justin Fields guy. I don't think the Steelers would be any better if they had Justin Fields. They have good quarterback play, and to win in the AFC and really in the NFL, you have to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes. You have to be able to beat Jalen Hurts, and you have to be able to beat Josh Allen and quarterbacks of that stature. I think right now the quarterback play the Steelers are getting from Rodgers is good enough to compete with those guys. They just have to have a better offensive line and not have a left tackle that's like a turnstile right now. But like I said, it's only week 4, no reason to overreact. We still have a long way to go here.
You're right, but I think you kind of made my point at the end there for me. I was going to say it would be good enough if there were a couple other things going their way, like the offensive line playing better, the run game being better, and your $158 million defense playing up to standard, playing up to their price. That's not happening right now. If you told me before the season that this was the level of play you were getting from Aaron Rodgers your first 3 games, and it was going to be the sustained level of play you got through 17 games, I would be on your side. I would say that this is a 12-win team. But you look at the rest of the team. There's a lot of other moving parts here. The offensive line hasn't played as well as you thought it was going to be, which subsequently has left you with no run game. Your $158 million defense, not good. Not nearly good enough. Now, there could absolutely be a turnaround point in this season. We still got 14 games of football left. I think it is too early to really make a determination on this team. But if I were to be asked to make a determination on this team, which is what this segment is, it's that it's the same old story. Start off hot, look good, you hit a rough patch later in the season, rough little stretch of games, and you falter. You drop 3 or 4 in a row, and all of a sudden you're back into the same ending point that we've been in the last few years. And to the point of the hardest schedule last year, if you're an elite team, you win at least 1 or 2 of those last 4 games. And
they had to play the NFC champions, the AFC champions, and the Super Bowl champions in that stretch. So I don't know what we're supposed to do, what the Steelers are supposed to do whenever they don't have a wide receiver 2, and their wide receiver 1 at the time, George Pickens, was out, and they're playing with Russell Wilson. We just saw what Russell Wilson looked like. He's getting benched to Jackson Dart. I mean, we can't take this seriously if you really think that the Steelers could have done more against that schedule. So with that, I'll leave you with a prediction, Mike. I think the Steelers are going to win 11 or 12 games this year. They're going to do better at the end of the year, winning some more games that they should at the end of the year, and they're going to finish with at least 1 playoff win, and they're going to have a chance to be one of the last 4 teams in the AFC come January.
This is why I started the segment saying that the optimist was going to be to my left and that the pessimist was going to be to your guys' right. I think this is the same old story. This is going to be a 10-7 football team that loses in either Baltimore, Buffalo, or Kansas City in Wild Card Weekend. And I'm going to finish it off because I still have stuff to say, but I'll finish it off by saying this. They had that Chiefs game at home. An elite team wins a home game against a really good team, and they put up 24 points in Baltimore. With the defense they had, that should have been good enough. but it wasn't.
They're going to play Jake Browning twice, and they're going to play Baltimore whenever Baltimore's probably resting guys in week 18.
History tells us that they're going to go 1-2 in that stretch, unfortunately. And I hope they go 3-0.
heard
They
it here,
should go
1-2.
3-0. They should win 4 games in a row before they play the Packers. History tells us that that's just not what the Steelers are going to do. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope Logan's the one that ends up looking like the smart one. I hope I look dumb as a box of rocks come the end of the season. We'll see who ends up being right. But we still got 14 games of football left to play in the NFL season. A lot of semester left here on Plead Your Case, so make sure to stay tuned for more Plead Your Case episodes here on our WCTV YouTube page.